I'm going to show you how to make this easy cuff bracelet with sparkly dangles on it. You're going to need some 20 gauge wire and some lighter weight wire like a 26 gauge or so. You're going to need round nose pliers, nippers. You might be able to get away without the nippers by using the cutters on your others. Flat nose pliers. You're going to need a ruler, and you're just going to need an assortment of any kind of beads. And then I've also added some silver sparkly beads just to add some sparkle to my bracelet. And you're going to need just something round to start your shape of your arm, and I've just got a can of mushrooms here. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've cut 3 sections of 20 gauge wire. One thickness would not be rigid enough to make a cuff bracelet, so we're going to put 3 of them together. So I've cut all 3 because my wrist is 8 inches, so I'm going to make an 8-inch cuff. And I have cut this wire 8 inches. So at the end of each one of these wires, I'm going to make a ring. So there we have all 3. So we can just flatten those down so that they're all nice and flat. So I've got all my rings lined up. I'm going to insert the lighter gauge wire in through those, and I'm just going to leave that extending about 1 inch. And I'm going to twist it around 1 time just to hold all of those rings together like that. So now I'm going to start twisting the wire around the 3 heavier 20 gauge wire. Just going to get it started here. And when I get to this area where there's the end of the wire, I'm just going to make sure that I close that wire end. So now that little wire end is not sharp. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my wire approximately 24 inches. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to place a bead, and I'm just going to pick my beads out randomly. So I picked a bead out of my bag and I placed it on, and I wind the wire around 2 times like that. And I'm going to pick out another bead, and this time I got a yellow one. And the only time I won't use the bead I picked out is if it happens to be the same color as the one I just put on. Okay, so now I'm going to try to go back and forth across the wire. And so I'm going to place another, and I've gone around the wire. Okay, oh, we got a green one this time. Okay, so here's the green one. I'm going to go on that side of the wire, and I'm going to wind it around a couple times like that. And we got a pink, and so there we go. We've got it on this side of the wire. 1, 2. So this is how it's looking. We're going to pick another one, and I've got a lime green. So place that one on here. And I'm going to wind that 2 times. I think I have enough there for one more wind, so I'm going to place this on this pink one, okay? And now I'm glad I ran out of wire, because now I'll show you how you just add another piece in case you run out, okay? So I'm just going to finish that down like that. I'm going to just tighten up that wire. I'm feeling it. There's no sharp edges, okay? So I'm just going to cut a length of wire a few inches long. And I'm going to see where I ended, and I'm just going to hold a tab of wire, hold it anywhere here along, so just wherever I can get a good grip. And I'm going to start winding again, like that. So now I'm getting close to the end. I'm going to make my loops at the other end. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut all of them the same length. Okay? And then I'm going to make my loops here. So I'm going to make 1, 2, tighten that up, and 3. Okay? Like that. And I'm going to bring them all together, and I'm going to pinch them to get them snug together. Okay? So now I'm going to insert the end of my wire through all 3 of those loops, and I'll use my flat nose pliers to bring them through like that, just to hold them all together. And I can just pinch that wire over, and then I'm going to begin to wind this back up the stem just until I get to where I had been, where I stopped. Okay? So that's about right there. I'm going to cut off the extra wire like that, and I'm going to tighten up that wire end so there's no sharp area. And then I'm going to go back to this tab that I left, and I'm going to cut off the extra, and I'm going to do the same thing with this wire end. I'm going to tuck it in really well, and there's no sharp areas. Okay, so there's what our bracelet looks like at this point. And I'm going to begin to shape it in a circle, and I'm just going to use this can of mushrooms here just to get myself started like that. And then I can finish forming it into a cuff shape like that. Okay, for each one of our dangles we're going to have to cut a piece of wire approximately 1.5 inches long. And we're going to make a ring at one end, and then we're going to place a bead on the wire like that. And we only need approximately 1/2 inch here, so we'll just trim off anything extra that we've got there. And we will form a ring by bringing the wire right up to the ridge on the pliers to make a good sized loop. Pull it back again to straighten it on stem, and I'm going to open the loop. I'm going to place it on one of these wires that are exposed, and I'm going to close the loop. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've added some silver dangles all around on my bracelet. Some places I added 2, some only 1, but I added 1 on each one for sure. And there you go. That's your finished cuff bracelet. And if you would like a more rigid bracelet, you can put 4 or 5 strands of 20 gauge wire in the beginning, and that'll make it more rigid.